welcome to the first episode of SparkFreedom. On today's episode, I'm going to be converting my 2016 Chevy Spark into the ultimate car stealth camping setup. For those of you who don't know me personally, my name is Dominic Travaglino. When I was 7 years old, my family decided to give everything up and move into an RV. We did that for about 10 years. I got to see all the amazing places that people only ever get to dream of or see on videos or in books and stuff like that. Since then, I've moved into a normal house in rural North Carolina. I work a 40-hour-a-week job, and I really don't often leave town all that much. But there had always been this underlining dissatisfaction because I knew that there was more to explore and more to see out in the rest of the country. And I was so young that when I did it, that a lot of it has been blurred for me, and I've wanted to go back and do it ever since. So I decided that I was going to leave North Carolina, leave my home here and my job and my family, and not work 40 hours a week, at least for not right now. Decide to use some of my young life while I still have it. And without further ado, let's start converting this car. That's the back seats taken out of the car in preparation for the big wood board that's going to take all of that up. Next, we're going to take out that right front passenger seat. So there it is. That is the seats pulled from the car. So now I have all of this space for the piece of wood that is going to go over it and the extra storage that's going to go under that wood. Alright, so here is the completed wood frame. It's all screwed together with mounting brackets, and there's some hinges over there. I wasn't able to get all the footage of assembling the cars, like putting all these last couple panels in, just because it did end up getting dark on us while we were building this. There's some understorage. The understorage extends back to about there before the car kind of curves up like that, and then across. So I have a lot of storage underneath this like wood frame right here to put all sorts of stuff and store things. Back here I've got this hinged so I can still get to the spare tire and supplies for the spare tire. And then I have some completed blinded out panels right here that I'm going to showcase a little bit later when I have everything else in the car. But other than that, I'm super excited. This thing's finally coming together. Next step is to put furnishings and build a foam, or not like memory foam, to put all right here. I'm gonna put my cooler over here and some storage here. Haven't exactly figured out where everything's gonna go yet. I've also got a top bag that I'm gonna put up here and put some of the supplies that I'm gonna need for my trip in there. And once I've completed all of that and got everything in the car, we'll take it on a test run. One thing that makes perfect sense now, but I'd never thought about when I was building it, is there's a lot of wood creaking noise now. When I move my seat, I can feel all the wood platform creaking and turning behind me. But even though I have so much more planned for this car that I'm going to be doing as far as installing stuff and planning trips, even just seeing this wood platform installed and taking this drive fills me with a lot of excitement, because I'm finally working in a direction towards this trip which I've been planning for a very long time now. I can't help but realize, driving this road, how incredibly blessed I am to not only have the ability and time to make a trip like this, but also have the supportive family that I do that's helping me to build this car the way I want to build it, and encouraging me even in some points more than I'm encouraging myself, or just getting me to go on this trip even when it's sometimes difficult to leave all the things that I'm going to be leaving. I'm incredibly grateful and happy that I have the parents and the family that I do, keeping me in check and keeping me on this road, figuratively and literally. Alright, so there's a lot of places I could start with getting everything ready and putting things in here. I could start just throwing in like organizers or the electric cooler that I've bought, but I think I'm gonna start with measuring out and then putting a memory foam block here. I'm not sure how well the memory foam's gonna work, because it will probably just get hard the second it gets cold in here, and then I'm just sleeping on the wood anyway, so I'll have to see. And if that doesn't work, maybe I'll get an egg crate or something like that. But then let's go and measure out this piece of wood, or remeasure it I should say, because I already measured it, and then start cutting a piece of foam. Okay, so I just measured out the space on this board. It's about 20 inches wide, and then I'm gonna cut out the foam piece to about 8 foot and just kind of start cutting it down as I decide how long I actually want it to be. I'd like it to go as close to the back as possible, but I'm not 100% sure how that'll end up sitting with this bar right here that sticks out on the side. So I'm gonna see how that is, and then we'll see how it fits. Alright, now I got this thing all measured out. It's incredibly difficult to move this stuff because it's super heavy foam, but I've got it measured 20 inches across, 20 and a half, and then this is about 6 foot 6 inches long. So hopefully I think it'll be long enough to fill that space fine. I'm not going to be able to film cutting this because it's incredibly difficult to move, but I will catch up with you when I'm putting it in the car. Okay, I've got the cut piece of memory foam that I need. That was utterly exhausting. This stuff weighs like 10-15 pounds, but it's all flopping all over the place. Let's put this in the car. All right. See, look, I can't even like push it because it just sits there at the end and flops all over itself. Alright. I'm gonna pull it all the way to the end. And there we go. It looks like it just barely goes to here. Oh. It's nice. Alright, next step, I'm going to furnish the rest of this. Get my sleeping bag and set it up on this. Alright, here's the sleeping bag. I'm gonna set it out. I ended up putting a sheet on this foam. I think this is a queen sheet if I remember correctly. I don't have any that's gonna specifically fit this, so it's kind of loose, but it'll do its job at protecting it. Gonna set out this sleeping bag, and then we will move on to putting in the cooler and then some storage organizers. Okay, here's the, wait for the truck to pass. Here is the set power cooler that I bought on Amazon. This one seemed to be the best deal. I don't have any sponsors for this video, but I haven't really done all too much testing on this. Just ran it for a couple hours and it seemed to cool pretty well. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's going to sit right in here. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm doing all the wiring and stuff. I have an electrical box, like a battery box, that I'm gonna put in here in a little bit. But I'm just trying to figure out still where I'm gonna end up putting that. Okay, there's the cooler. I think I'm gonna end up putting the battery box underneath if it fits down there, and running all the wires kind of away from the back towards the front and under where the passenger seat was. And that way I can just keep it out of the way, have all this space, and still have things running at the same time. Next thing I need to install is organizers there. I need to kind of keep things not mounted, or not that I can't remove things, so I can't really screw things down like the organizers, because there's that hinge there and I still want to be able to get to the spare tire and stuff if I need to. So that's the next step. It's coming together pretty well. I've still got a lot to do to this, and I'm taking my first test trip on this tomorrow, so this is going to be a long day. But without further ado, I guess I'll get on to the next step. So I think what I'm gonna do, at least for now, since this is so loose, is I'm just gonna put the heavier stuff, which is gonna be my kitchen stuff, in the bottom of it, and then just lighter stuff up as I go, and then I'll test it out and see if that actually keeps it stationary, and if not, then I'll have to figure something else out. Alright, I'm installing the battery box that's going to power all the electronic things in the car. You can already tell this is going to be an extremely tight fit. So I'll get my orientation. It's going to sit like that. Yeah. Okay. Alright, that actually fit in there very well. So here's the battery box. I'm going to be running wires to the things like the tiny travel blender that I have, or the cooler that's over there. Anything that I would need to power. Also all my filming equipment. It's going to sit right under there. It's actually a perfect little spot for it. The beams that are holding up this frame line up perfectly all around this, so this is actually great for that. That worked out 10 times better than I expected it to. So let's move on to the next step. Alright, so it's coming together nicely. I've got clothes in this top drawer here. Got toiletries, soaps, toothpaste, stuff like that all in here. And then this bottom one, I've got all my kitchen supplies. This one's a little harder to get to because of the foam, but all I really needed to do is kind of move it out of the way to open it. I've got a electric stovetop in there, pan, and then all the forks and knives and stuff that I need for that. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is filling
all the things that are going to go on the roof of the car in this suitcase so that it has a bit more rigidity, because it is only a roof bag that I'm going to be putting up here. This is all going to be stuff that I don't necessarily need instantaneously. Like if I'm going to go to a spot and just camp in a parking lot or something like that, this is going to be stuff that I don't really need to get to. But if I'm out in the wilderness and camping and just want to get to some more leisure stuff, then I'll have this accessible on the roof. So let's get that installed. Alright, so I ended up giving up on that car carrier bag. It just really wasn't holding its shape and it was being incredibly difficult, and I spent like a good hour and a half working on it at least. But I found that I was able to keep most of the stuff underneath this area where the feet wells used to be by the back seats, just across there, and keep most of the camping gear under there. But yeah, this is pretty much the completed car so far. I can't think of much more that I need to add to this. I need to do a little bit more shopping just to fill out some other things that I'll be needing, but this is what it looks like.
Thank y'all for watching the first episode of Spark Freedom. Keep an eye out for my next episode, where I'm going to be testing out the car camper, see what works, see what I need, and see what I don't need. For now, just like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.